So as you are preparing to finish school, you have to tell me what it is you want to be hired for.
Hey everyone, Ricky here, back with another video. Today we do things a little differently in that this is a montage of my top takeaways for what they didn't teach you in design school on getting hired. Right now we're gonna start with where to apply. Too often people just apply at random to any job that has an opening. Mr. Doe would say this is a flawed way to go about it. This is important because you have to choose who you apply to carefully so that it's not cast aside like other applications.
We want to market to fewer people, not more. If you had, say, $1,000 to market to 1,000 people, your effective budget would be $1. And if you had to market to 100 people, your effective budget would be $10. But if you had to market to 10 people, your budget would be $100.
Yeah.
So if you think about, it's just remove the word money and put in there effort, energy. So if you were to research and target no more than 10 companies, learn who founded it, what their specialty is, what their pain points and challenges are, who their competitors are, and just get all forensic on them, FBI style, and just get really into it, right? And you follow them on social, and you start a dialogue with them. Now you get to know who they are. So when you graduate, you have a relationship with them already. I posted this thing on LinkedIn, and it got a lot of engagement on it because I said, look, if your first interaction with me is to ask me for a job, to sell me something, here's literally what I do. I unfollow you, I unfriend you, and I block you. Literally that's what I do. And I don't care who you are. Because nobody that wants to build a real relationship with me would start it that way with, hey, I really admire your work, help me. I really admire your work, do something for me. That's not how I work. I work in a place of reciprocity. So if your first show that you want to build a relationship with me, that you're genuinely interested in me, you have a small shot.
Next up is networking. Networking is a learned skill, and it's definitely terrifying for us introverts. But it's important if you ever want to grow and get work that isn't from a friend or a friend of a friend. You got to be brave. Take it away, Charlie.
Because you've just gone from this environment, right, where you are in a classroom day after day with a bunch of other creative people. You know, you're building those connections, and you've got to keep those going once you're out of school. And you've got to find them in other places. Being in the right place, talking to the right person, putting myself out there and being brave when you're like scared to talk to someone at a conference, that sort of thing.
I think it's a little easier for both you and I who have jobs and are doing all right in our life and
to be
those
saying
questions.
These things.
To be saying these things. But
great point.
If I had to look back at 20-year-old Chris, that's really scary.
Yeah.
Okay,
you know
so
what?
bring me back there.
I wish that 20-year-old Charlie had felt brave enough to go to design meetups and design conferences, design events before I felt like I was a designer. 20-year-old Charlie, or any other young people out there who are learning design and feeling like they're afraid to put themselves in these spaces, I want you to know that you are already a designer and that you fit in there more than you realize, and that people are going to be excited to talk to you just like you're excited to talk to them. You just have to be brave and say hello to someone. Not every person will be a winner, but you have to keep trying because you never know which conversation you have could be that point that changes everything for your career. So the more you try it, the more of those conversations you have, the more chance you'll have of that happening, and that's special.
All right, coming up is dream job. It's important to know whether or not to accept the first response you get when you apply to a job. Charlie gives a great explanation on this.
I don't know what your answer is going to be for this, but mine is I think you should go for a job, the first job you get that you are interested in. I think you can learn something anywhere. It doesn't have to be a big name company in order for you to learn a lot from it and have a good experience. You can get a job and still keep applying for other jobs. This is the thing.
Ooh, you're so sneaky.
I mean, the dream job can come along and you can go for that too, but you shouldn't just hang around waiting, doing nothing until that happens. When I left university, I was in my last year working part-time as a graphic designer at Mitsubishi Electric.
Yes.
It was the dream. It wasn't the dream.
Yeah.
But I was working part-time. As soon as I graduated, they offered me a full-time job, and I went straight into working full-time. A lot of my fellow students, they turned their noses up at this job when it came through our class forum job board thing. They thought, that's not exciting. That's not the cool agency everyone wants to work at. I finished university, had a job straight away. I was earning money, working as a designer, and they had to go through the process of like, hunting for that job afterwards. Yeah. And even though I didn't hold out for my dream job, I learned a lot on this job. And it led to like a bunch of other really cool things in my career, led to meeting great people, having good experiences. Yeah. So I have no regrets at all about not waiting for the dream job.
Next up, markets. Where should I move for design work? And they aren't hiring in my part of the world. These are things we hear often, and it's important to know what to do when there's a dry spell in hiring in your area.
If the local economy is not doing well, you do realize you can work with anyone, anywhere in the world.
Okay.
That I would say in the 24 years of running a business, I probably met face-to-face less than 15% of my clients. Why do you limit who you can work with by geographical proximity?
Yeah.
So if you're a good design company in Greece and you can compete with the world, if you compete with everybody in the world, why wouldn't you? Because the market sometimes is better in America, sometimes it's better in the UK or Germany, wherever it is. You just go where the market is.
Okay.
All right? But you won't get there by trying to be all things to all people.
All right, website. This is the one common trait I've ever seen to any job I've ever applied to. Portfolio link or website. It's the one place they can see your work and you control the narrative. This is important because it's your first impression on how a company sees you.
So as you are preparing to finish school, the first thing that you need to think about is, do I have a website up? Because that's what everybody's gonna ask you for. And you do not have to wait till you graduate to get a site stood up. Like, you wanna stand up a site, you wanna get it up as quickly as possible. Your site does not need to be tricky. In fact, if you make it too tricky, I'm not gonna use it. So follow a conventional interface, a user interface that people are used to, so that they don't have to learn how to figure out your work. And there's only a couple things that you need to do, okay? Hopefully you are able to register a URL that is your full name, or something that's easy to spell. And if you have a difficult name to spell, consider modifying it, shortening it, or doing something playful with that so that it's easy to type in. But here's the most critical thing that you need to do. You have to tell me what it is you want to be hired for. You cannot expect somebody to comb through all of your work and figure it out. Because if they have to do that, that's a pain point for them. They don't want to guess. They're going to just move on. Now, don't show me what you do. Show me what you want to be hired for. And you need to be as specific as you can be. Now, people are a little scared. When you get out of school, you want to cast a really wide net and you want to see what fish comes to the bait. That's not how the real world works. You need to be as specific as possible. Claim an expertise, get as narrow as you can, don't worry, and then show only the pieces that back that up.
All right, and lastly, Matthew goes over what to say during an interview. Now, this is important because we don't want to scare the job opportunity away just because we messed up on the final step. So make sure you listen carefully and enjoy the video.
And the problem is they come in and they just start talking about themselves. It's like they have all this portfolio prepared, all this stuff that they have prepared to this point, and they're ready to tell me everything as if it was scripted, right? And it comes out all weird because they start stumbling upon on themselves because they don't really know what they're going to say or in what order they're going to say it, and they just get so caught up in trying to present themselves. When all they have to do is, before they start the interview, is just say this. Look, interviewer, I have plenty of stuff that I could review with you, but before I get into that, I want to know what's important for you to see so that I can cater what it is I show to you so that whatever I show you is going to be relevant and productive for our conversation. Nobody does that in interviews, and that's always the feedback I give to up-and-coming students. So for any of you guys who have gotten your portfolio in and somebody is bringing you in to get interviewed, try that on your interview. Ask them a question first instead of just blah and just saying your pre-scripted thing, whatever you had prepped. Just focus on what they want, and then you could talk to that.
And that does it for today's video. Did I miss anything? Do you remember a video where we gave you a really good tip about this subject? Help me and this community out by dropping it in the comment section below. The woman earlier in the video was Charlie. She has a great YouTube channel that'll be linked below as well. Definitely check her out. And I hope you all are staying safe during this time. And as always, we will see you in the next video. These are my new glasses. How do we feel?